Hey everybody, Aaron Spears here, Young Adult Librarian at the Westlake Porter Public Library. I'm here today to do a quick preview of a few new books that are in the young adult area. So these are brand new books into the collection that are just published in the last few months that I want to highlight here. Hopefully pique your interest a little bit. I've got a few different books from a variety of different genres. So let's jump in and take a look at new books in young adult fiction. The Daughters of Wise by M.T. Anderson and illustrated by Joanne Rioux. Anderson has a few other books, young adult books that he's written too, two fictional books, Feed, and the other one is called Landscape with Invisible Hand. And they also wrote a YA nonfiction book about World War II called Sympathy for the City of the Dead. In this one, in Daughters of the Wise, Anderson takes his inspiration in a classic Brenton folktale that deals with love, loss, and rebirth, and revealing secrets that are just beneath the surface. It's a few extra details into this one to expand out the story, but not too much. He keeps very close to the original. It's about two daughters of the king and queen. So you've got Rosen and Dot. Rosen is the heir to the throne, so she spends a lot of her time actually like outdoors and communing with animals and very in touch with nature and everything. And then the youngest daughter, Dot, she much more enjoys, royal life and palace intrigue and all the trappings of being the daughter of a king and queen. Well, the day that Dot and Rosen, they become aware of their father's corruption, the king, they head off on their different paths. But then as adults, they come together because their city needs them. So you have Rosen, who has been living outdoors and far away from all the lavish parties, and Dot, who has grown up and now as an adult is deeply embroiled in the enchantment that's needed to keep the sea walls from closing in and destroying the city of Wise. And with the reveal of their father's corruption, the two must now work together in order to save the city that they both know and love. If you're a fan of folk tales and graphic novels, this is definitely the book for you. Next up, we have Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. Richards is the author of a few previous books in the young adult category. She did the Gone Too Far and 6 Months Later, very adept at thrillers and mystery and compelling fiction. So in Five Total Strangers, we meet the protagonist Mira. She thought being stranded was the worst thing that could happen, but she was wrong. She's trying to get home for the holidays badly, but when an incoming blizzard results in the cancellation of connecting flights, it looks like she might get stuck at the airport indefinitely. And then Harper, Mia's glamorous seatmate from her initial flight, offers her a ride. So Harper and her three friends can drop off Mira on their way home, but as they set off, Mira realizes that fellow travelers are all total strangers and every one of them is hiding something. So soon the roads go from slippery to terrifying, stuck in this incoming blizzard. People's belongings are mysteriously disappearing in the ride. Someone in the car is clearly lying, may even be sabotaging the entire trip, but why? And can Mira make it home alive, or will this nightmare drive turn fatal for her? So again, very compelling mystery thriller, some really strong horror elements though in this one. So if you're fans of like Megan Miranda or Karen McManus, Ruth Ware's novels, this is definitely one that's right up your alley and you're going to enjoy. It is a page turner. Admission is one of those books they would say is very of the moment. It's very much of the headlines because it involves the hyper-competitive, hyper-privileged, and hyper-wealthy folks and college admissions bribery scandal that has just recently got a lot of headlines around the country. So this main character, we have Chloe Wynn Berenger. She's headed off to college of her dreams. She's going to prom with the boy she's had a crush on since middle school, and her best friend always has her back, and her mom as a B-list movie celebrity may finally be getting her way back up to the A-list. So as the novel starts off, it's very good to be Chloe Wynn Berenger, at least until the FBI comes knocking on her front door. They have their guns at the ready, and her future is going up in smoke before her very eyes. Her life changes just like that. Now her mother's under arrest in a massive college bribery admission scandal. Chloe herself may be even facing some sort of charge, possibly even jail time. The public is furious. The press is rabid. And there's a U.S. attorney that is clearly out for blood and wants to make an example of them. So as Chloe's losing everything, she's long taken for granted. She must reckon not only with the truth of what's happening, but also with the examination of her own guilt and role in the matter. Why did her parents think the only way for her to succeed was to cheat for her? That's kind of insulting. Or what did she know, and when did she know it? Were there hints along the way? And perhaps most importantly, what does it mean to be complicit? If you like very, very much like strong, introspective, character-driven stories, it's a very thoughtful story. Fans of like The Moon and More by Sarah Dresden and Girl and Framed. This is the kind of book that is right up your alley. Next up, we have actually back-to-back ones from Abigail Johnson. She had quite the publishing year in 2020. She had 2 books come out. So we're going to focus on first Girl on the Run, but we're also going to take a quick look at Every Other Weekend. Johnson has had some publishing success before. Her previous book, Even If I Fall, was quite a hit. So starting off with Girl on the Run, this is a very, very fast-paced, can't wait to turn the page thriller about a girl who discovers that her mother might not be who she says she is. And now someone is hunting both of them. It starts off right from the first page. Grabs you, it hooks you, and is a page-turner. Caitlin wants the best for her widowed mom, so she surprises her with an online dating profile. It seems like a good idea. Well, what a surprise it isn't. Caitlin's mom hasn't just been acting overprotective all these years, she's been hiding something. And now that anyone can find them online, Caitlin is in a desperate race against time to uncover the secrets of her past, not only her mom's, but also possibly her own. So as her world unravels, she begins to trust the guy who brought this nightmare to her door, and to doubt the one person she never thought she would be doubting, because her mom has been hiding a secret for some reason, and she's been waiting. So if you like fast-paced, on-the-run thrillers, this is one of those read straight through, like, in a snowy afternoon weekend kind of book. Her other one that Abigail Johnson put out this year is Every Other Weekend. So this shifts genres dramatically. This one features 2 different protagonists here. So we've got Adam Moynihan. His life used to be awesome. He had straight A's, close friend, a home life so perfect that it could have been a TV sitcom right out of the 50s. Then his older brother dies. Now his fun-loving mom cries constantly. He and his remaining brother can't talk without fighting, and the father he always admired proved himself cowardly by moving out when they needed him the most. So this character and his trajectory in his life is contrasted with Jolene Timber, whose life is nothing like the movie she loves, not the happy ones anyway. As an aspiring director, she should know, because she's been reimagining her life as a film ever since she was a kid. With her divorced parents at each other's throats and using her as a pawn, no amount of mental re-editing is going to give her the life she's been starving for. So now these 2 characters meet. You've got Adam and Jolene meeting, as the title suggests, every other weekend. So they're forced to spend every other weekend in the same apartment building. The boy who thinks forgiveness makes him weak and the girl who thinks love is for fools begin an honest and unlikely friendship every other weekend. So if you like books that have multiple perspectives, this is that kind of book for you. If you like The Sun Is Also a Star, Love from A to Z, Eleanor and Park, the chapters alternate points of view. So you get Adam's point of view one chapter, you get Jolene's point of view on the opposite chapters. This is that book. It is that book for you if that is the style of fiction that you enjoy reading. Let's now hop over to a very atmospheric suspense thriller. This is The Cousins by Karen M. McManus. She is the author of One of Us is Lying and One of Us is Next, which actually in a series there. She knows her well-plotted atmospheric thrillers. In this one, we've got Millie, Aubrey, and Jonah Story are cousins, but they barely know each other, and they've never even met their grandmother. Rich and reclusive, her grandmother disinherited their parents before they were born, so when they each receive a letter inviting them to work at her island resort for the summer, they're surprised, but they're also very curious. Their parents are all clear on one point: not going is not an option. This could be the opportunity to get back in grandmother's good graces, the parents think. But when the cousins arrive on the island, it's immediately clear that she has different plans for them. And the longer they stay, the more they realize how mysterious, how dark, how disturbing their family's past really is. So the entire family has secrets, and McManus expertly plots this out, slow reveal by slow reveal by slow reveal, but it's not slow. It's a very compelling thriller. If you like Grit or The Disappearances, this is the book for you. Rounding out this video, we're going to do Rebel Sisters by Tochi Onyebuchi. Onyebuchi actually also wrote War Girls in 2019, and actually let's stay on War Girls for a second, because this is actually Rebel Sisters is the prequel. So let's take a look at the first one. So with War Girls, came out in 2019. The year is actually 2172. So we're going for future deep world building sci-fi science fiction here. Climate change and nuclear disasters have rendered much of the Earth unlivable. Only the lucky ones have escaped to space colonies in the sky. So in war-torn Nigeria in 2172, battles are fought using flying, deadly mechs, and soldiers are outfitted with bionic limbs and artificial organs meant to protect them from the harsh, radiation-heavy climate. Across the nation, as the years-long civil war wages on, survival becomes the only way of life. So now within this world, within this amazingly, very deeply constructed science fiction world, two sisters, Onyi and Ifi, dream of more. Their lives have been marked by violence and political unrest. Still, they dream of peace, hope, and a future together, and they're willing to fight an entire war to get there. So that sets up the whole world, and then the two sisters, Onyi and Ifi, in War Girls. So now, Onyebuchi has written a sequel to this. Looks like it's possibly going to even be a series. It is called Rebel Sisters. This is the one that just came out. So it's been 5 years since the war ended from the first book. Ifi is now 19 and living where she's always dreamed, the space colonies. She is respected, high-ranking medical officer and has dedicated her life to helping refugees like herself rebuilding in the colonies. Back in the still devastated Nigeria, Uzo, a young synth, is helping an aid worker, Zeffing, recover images and details of the war held in the technologically destroyed androids. So they and the rest of their team are working to preserve the memories of the many lives lost, despite the government's best efforts to eradicate any signs that the war ever even happened. Though they're working towards common goals of helping those who've suffered, Ifi and Uzo are worlds apart, literally, but when a mysterious virus breaks out among the children in the space colonies, their paths end up colliding. So you get the story of the space colonies and you get the story of those back down on Earth as well. If you like Marie Lu's Legend series or Partials, those bleak but like really richly detailed dystopias of the future, this whole War Girl series is definitely right for you. Well, that wraps up this video. Thank you for hanging out and checking out a few new books in the young adult section at the Westlake Porter Public Library. If any of those, and I hope at least one of them did, pique your interest, click on the links below the video here. We've got everything set up to take you right to the catalog, place your hold, and get the books picked up as quickly as possible. So until next time, happy